Hi there, welcome back to JD Answers. Today we have the URVOLAX 12-inch mirror dash cam. It's a front and rear installation, which means it has a rear camera which turns into a backup camera. So yes, we're going to install the red wire. The first thing you're going to have to do is remove your rear view mirror. Now mine's has some connections, which is a garage door code and the light balance here, and which means it has some wires in there. I have a wire harness connected to my rear view mirror because of the garage door connections here and the light balance and the cables here. So I'm just gonna pop the cable out and then undo the screw here, and this would take out the rear view mirror. Okay, I took out the screw, so we should just pop out. There it goes. Now I can get to the connections in the back. Okay, all we have left is this wire harness. All we're going to do is push it in between the upholstery, and all that's going to be left is this connection here. But not to worry, with the window tint, you're not going to be able to see it on the inside. I'm sorry, from the outside. And all these connections are for multiple dash cams that I do, so don't worry about those. Pay no attention to those mounts. Now we got to do is just start installing the rear view mirror. If you're not doing the bracket installation, you're going to use these rubber grips, okay? And the way you do it is you simply get one of these grips, just slide it into the slot, pull up, and it's installed. You got both of them. And what you're going to do is just simply put it around your rear view mirrors you have already. So you get your rubber grip, put it on the opposite side, it goes all around, and then you repeat the process for the next side. There it goes. All right, and that's pretty much it. I mean, it stays firmly in there. There's no adjustment to it because you'll just move your rear view mirror. And that's the adjustment. The first thing you want to do is grab your mount. Then you get the larger packet of bolts. You get your bracket for the rear view mirror. And then you use these bolts with the screwdriver provided, and you just screw them in. Alright, then you're going to get your rear view mirror, put it face down. You get your bracket that you just put together, put it on top, and it's going to get connected right here. You're going to put them on those notches on each side. And then you're going to use the only remaining screws you have left and to screw them in there. Alright, once you have everything done, this is the way it's going to look. Just remember that the top side, you install it on the top side here. Once you're done installing the bracket, just make sure before you finish installing the bracket that you have it the right way. The grooves are narrowing down like a V, okay? And that, because your mirror is going to fall like this, how the V is going down. Okay, now we are done with this bracket, and all we're going to do is just simply put it on the rear view mirror as shown. We are now ready to install the rear view mirror dash cam into the slot. That's how easy it was. And that's how it looks from the inside. Again, this wire is from another dash cam, so don't worry about this. So now we got to do is just screw that one part right here. Let me do that real quick. Okay, I'm done installing the screw, and you could actually see that that terminal I had here is gone. I just able to slip it right inside the upholstery, the headliner here. So not bad on that part as well. But this was a quick installation. All we had to do was put the mounts together, which was like 2 or 3 steps, and then simply insert the mirror into that slot, and that was it. It's that easy. And it's a lot better and cleaner without putting the mirror on top of your rear view mirror you have already. You just have one. There's no bokeh at the top. So this is pretty nice. I like this part. And you just look at that. That's going to be your whole dash cam right here. This is going to be your screen. It's not a small screen. This is your whole screen right here from your dash cam. Some have a 1-inch, some have a 2-inch or a 3-inch. But this is the whole screen, 12-inch screen. So this is, I like this. I'm pretty excited about this dash cam right here. To install your front dash cam, first take off the 3M strip here. All right, now that you've taken the cover off the 3M strip, now you're ready to install the front dash cam. Now I'm going to install mine centered to the rear view mirror. And just make sure you clean the area first. Alright, now you can see where the wire's on the top. And that's what you want to have it. I'm just going to press firmly to make sure it has a good stick in there. Alright, now you can see the camera facing down. Simply just push it and it goes to the front. Alright, now it's facing the front and that's how we want it. Okay, now we're ready for the GPS mount. I took off the adhesive strip. I'm going to put this higher on the window shield towards the passenger side where you can see I have the groove here from the center, and that's where I'm going to put mine higher to the window. And that sounds about right. Looks good. And I'm just going to push it in and it should be firmly pressed in there. Now this one came with a lot of slack, so all the slack is going to go pushed in behind the headliner here. And you can see I'm just pushing all the wire inside the headliner. There's a lot of room under there. And you can stretch it out underneath here all the way back and forth. And then just so you have enough space or enough wire to go down and install it into your dash cam. Alright, now you can see where I got a little bit of space left, or a little bit of wire, I'm sorry. And I'm simply just going to install it, the wire in, and it's done. And it's not going to be too much wire exposed. Now I am going to go back and just clean this up, but once we're done installing all the wires, I'm going to install the wires now for the front and rear camera. Just make sure you install it the same way it is as shown on the picture on the rear view mirror. Do not cross the wire like this. It has to come out this way. So I'm just going to install that first. And it's in. Now I can install the front dash cam wire into the correct one here. And it actually says front dash cam, front cam right here. This one's going to say rear. This one's the front. So just make sure you're installing the right way. I'm sorry, on the right one. And you really can't mess it up because there are two different types. It won't let you install it on the wrong one. Now again, you're going to have some slack. All we're going to do is just simply push it inside the headliner. I'm going to roll it all the way to the left and then push it back to the right. That way it's not too crumpled up at one end. It's not going to go into there. Alright, got the front cam. Just push it in and twist and it'll go in perfectly where it needs to go. Alright, so what I'm going to do now, I'm going to start connecting the wire from the rear view mirror. And that way all the connections are done. Well, actually no, it's not going to be done. I still got to connect the power cable here. So let's go ahead and run the power cable. Let's do that one first. Alright, got the power cable. And I like the way the wires route to the correct way. Some dash cams will have the wire going out this way, but to install it you have to go the other way and then you're crossing the wire back. So there, I like the way they were thinking it through and got all the wires positioned the right way. So I'm just going to connect this wire here. This is the power, and I'm going to route it all the way back down to our cigarette lighter where we need to, or the power socket that we need to connect it into. Now if you have a hard wire kit, you could simply just push in that wire in there. If you need information about how to install a hard wire kit, I'll put a link right here on the top for you. Now, don't get discouraged with all these wires here. Once we're done, all the wires will be confined. So don't worry about the wires. Let's go ahead and start the installation. And just like we did the wires on the GPS, we're simply just going to push it inside the headliner. We already done it before, so it's already ready for us. And that's all you're doing. Pushing the wire inside the headliner. Alright, I just want to show you how the wires look inside the headliner. Again, all you're doing is just pushing it in with your hand. And there's a 1/4 of an inch to an 1/8 of an inch in there. And that's all you're doing is simply pushing it inside the headliner. And it's going to stay. And even if you see some wires exposed here, which you don't, this tint on the looking at it from the outside, you won't be able to see any of the wires. Now when you get to the A pillar, this is the first pillar here, is called the A pillar. What I like to do is, because you see all this wire here, this causes a lot of weight to the wire, so it's going to pull it down. So you just undo the wire, and you're going to use this A pillar here to hold the wire. And the fastest way to do it is to pull, for this car, is to pull the weather strip down. Now sometimes you could just simply push the wire in between the weather strip and the A pillar and it'll go smoothly, like in Fords. You don't have to do that. I mean, you don't have to take out the weather strip. Alright, so simply just push it in. That's all you do. And we're just going to move the A pillar out a little bit and brought the wire inside the A pillar. Alright, and you can see it's in there, no problem. And you can see this wire. Okay, all we got to do now, since this is holding the wire, all we got to do now is to make sure it's in there now. And we push it back, and if we need more slack, which we don't, we push it. We could pull it out more if we need more slack, but we don't, so we're good. And this portion is all completed. Alright, so all we're going to do now is to run the wire between the weather strip and the A pillar. And all you're going to do is just pull this wire, this weather strip out until you get to the kick plate on the bottom. Now let me move the camera so you can see what I'm doing. Now this wire, we're simply going to put it in between the A pillar and the frame. Alright, so it's in there. So then all we got to do now is put the weather strip back. And it's holding the wire in there. It's hidden in there. Alright, we're just going to continue the process. Putting the wire inside the upholstery here. Or actually the dashboard. And between the frame, and we're going to push back the weather strip. Alright, when you get to the kick plate area, where the kick plate and the dashboard comes together, there's a break. You're simply going to push the wire inside that groove there. And then again, you just finish off by putting the weather strip back. Let me show you our work we have so far, and you can see where the wires are not exposed at all. And you can see a little bit here on the corner, but again, you're not going to see anything because there's a black part there, and then you have the tint, so you're not going to see anything. Alright, the wire is confined in there by simply pulling off the weather strip, and we are good. Now let's go to the bottom and finish our installation. Okay, we're now at the kick plate area, and what we're going to do is route the wire behind the carpet now. Now there's a little kick plate here, just push it behind it. And we're just going to keep going all the way around the carpet. You could go behind a kick plate if you have one on the opposite side. And you could just simply put your wires behind there. You could use even wires on the inside to help you hold the wires. And then put your kick plates back. Push that on top. Alright, so all you got to do now is just connect your wire because you're pretty close to it. Now we're ready to install our cable inside the power socket. Normally cars' power sockets are right here in the front. Mine's is further back. So this is where we're going to install it. Alright, I'm going to put it in there. It's installed. And you can see how that wire goes across. And this is 2 cup holders underneath there. Now, that's why I installed a hard wire kit. If you want to know how I did this, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and look through my channel and you'll see all the videos I have on this. Alright, let's turn it on. Let's go ahead and test this product. Oh, there you go. Alright, you can see the front camera in there. Alright, so we know it works. Now let's go ahead and install the rear camera. Now what we're going to do is start installing the rear view camera. As you can see, I already have pre-holes drilled already. The first time I drilled was right here and it was too close where I was trying to back up or not really parallel park. This camera was in the way. So I'm going to keep putting my camera to the left side. And basically it really doesn't matter because this is going to become the backup camera because we're going to have a 12-inch screen on this. I think my car has an 8 to 10-inch screen, but this one's going to turn it into a 12-inch screen because we're going to use a rear view mirror as a backup camera now. So if it's too close to the backup camera, we got nothing to worry about. And this one has a 3-inch strip on it. And these hold very good with other dash cams. So let's go ahead and take this off. I actually got it on my first try. That's pretty neat. Alright. Alright, we're just going to apply it to there. You want to make sure it's clean. But I've taken it to this car wash several times so I know it's good. We're going to try to, let's see, about right there. I left about 1/8 of an inch before it hits this part, the silver part, this chrome part, so that way the rain's not going to be dripping on it. It's just going to flow straight down without hitting the camera. And again, we want to make sure it's straight because you don't want it going and looking at an angle. And I think we're good. Yeah, I think we're good. There it goes. It was kind of crooked, but I straightened it out just by that. Alright, so that part's done. So what I'm going to do is route the wire on the inside because these pre-drilled holes here I had, in order to get the wire in the inside, I had to drill holes inside the car because it's metal and metal on the inside. It's not an opening where you could put wires in there, so I pre-drilled already in there. Alright, here we go on the inside. As you can see, before that, I had already taken a lot of the upholstery clips off already. So that's why it's easier for me to take this off. This is the hole we're going to use to run the wire from the outside of the car to the inside. On the other side, you can see where the silicone's at, where I pre-drilled before, where I had the wires. I did have the dash cam there before. Then I noticed it was too close to the backup camera, as I stated earlier. So that's why this one is the one we use now. What I do to get the wire from the outside of the car to the inside is I use a zip tie. And I push the zip tie inside the hole there. And then when I do this, it's going to come out the other side. Alright, I'm pushing the zip tie from the bottom in, and it's just, there it goes. Actually, it's right there. Alright, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to tape this to the zip tie, and it's to pull the wire inside the car. So let me tape that up. Alright, I use electrical tape, but you could use pretty much whatever tape you want. I would stay away from the duct tape. Alright, now from the other hand, I'm just going to push the zip tie back in, and with my other hand, route it inside. As you're running the wire, it should come out on the other side, in which you see it right, actually yeah, you see it right here. Let me just keep pulling and the wire is out. Now let's just take off this part right here. Alright, then once we have the tape off and the zip tie out, all we got to do is keep pulling until there's no more wire on the outside, which you see here. Alright, take that off. Alright, there you go. Looks a little crooked, but alright, I think that's it right there. Push it down. Okay, so what you're going to do now is from the wires here, we're going to keep running the wire to the inside of the car. So we are done here. Now we're going to start from the camera and work our way back. That way the slack is on the inside of the trunk. So let's go back to the front. Okay, we are now at the front and I'm going to install the rear camera wire. And it's actually just right here hanging down the side there. Again, on these ones, all you got to do is push it in and turn, and eventually it'll clip, and which it did right there, and it's in. And then this wire we're going to run to the driver's side exactly like the way we did to the passenger. Now we're going to do it to the right side. Now since we've done this before, I'm going to go ahead and skip this part of the video to keep it short. I started running the wire to the driver's side. Now what we need to do is pull some of that wire, because see, you got the slack from the passenger side, which is the front camera, and you have the slack from the driver's side, which is the rear camera. So in order to get this slack out, we're gonna have to pull the wire to the driver's side to get some slack out. I pulled some of the wire, but we still have some more slack. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna keep pulling and eventually route the wires more to the left than to the passenger side seat. And the front camera, I'm just simply pushing it underneath the headliner. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to push more of the rear camera underneath the headliner now. And this part right here, the thick part, it's going to go inside the headliner. Okay, when we look at the wires, this is the power wire. This is the GPS wire here on this one. This one is the front and rear attachment wires here. And this one back here is the GPS that's going inside the headliner, all the slack. So this is pretty much the wires you're going to have. Now here I'm probably going to Velcro these wires together so it's just one strand. And the same thing for these two. I'm going to attach these wires together where there's less wires exposed. It'll be like if there's only two. So I'm going to start that. Okay, I have the wire to the A-pillar now. On the other installation we went down, but on this installation we're going to keep going up and route the wire to the B-pillar, which that's going to be the B-pillar, which is the middle between the front seat and the back seat. And then we're going to the C-pillar, which is back there where the back seat is at. The way we're going to install the wire is exactly the way we did on the passenger side when we went down to the kick plate. We're going to put the wire between the upholstery, which is just going to be the headliner, and the frame. And we're going to do it exactly the same way we did. So I'm going to skip this part since we've done this already. You can see at the B-pillar from the front seat to the back seat. we're going to route the wire like we did the A pillar. And we're going to push it behind the B pillar. So first I just want to get this corner started, and then we could put the upholstery back. Well, let's go ahead and just run it. And it should slide underneath there. Now in your packet, you got one of these blue pry bars or upholstery clips. You just push them down in there. You just push the wire down with this. Let's finish running the back wire. It's behind there. Now we can do, just make sure everything's good. And just pop it back in. Now what we're going to do now is, since we have the B pillar done, we're just going to route it to the C pillar. Again, we're going to skip this part. We've done this before. Now that we have the wire to the C pillar, which is the back seat, I'm going to continue running the wire inside the weather strip, and then from this part of the back seat, I'm going to push it open a little bit and then run the wire to the back inside the trunk. This is where my opening is. I cannot run it on the top because there's no way to get it inside because there's so much metal in the car, which is good for accidents, but for installations, this is my point. Now some vehicles you could put the seat down and then you could route the wire inside the carpet area into the trunk where the latch is at. But for this vehicle, this is where I have to use it. So I'm going to just push the wire inside. Now you can see there's a lot of slack. So if you have an SUV, even a truck, a F-150, this wire is long enough to fit through all of that. So this is good about this dash cam, because sometimes some wires are just not long enough and you have to buy an extension. But this is more than enough. This is all you're going to need. Alright, so I'm going to push my seat up, and I'm just simply going to push the wire inside. And what I'm doing is, with one hand I'm pushing the wire in, and with this hand here I'm routing the wire inside. Okay. This hand pushing the wire in. I know you can't get a good see in it, but you can't see real good in there, but with this hand I'm simply just working it inside. Alright, that's good. Let's go to the trunk area and see how we did. I took this panels off already. I know it's a little bright, but let's see what we got here. You can see the red wire from afar, and I'm just going to pull it. And I'm just going to keep pulling so we get all the slack out. Alright, you see all this slack here? Now what we're going to do is just untangle it so we could pull it in more to the trunk area. Now that we have the slack in the trunk, now we're just going to route the wire on the inside. And took off this weather strip so we could push it behind it. And then from this part to the C pillar, where it goes from the back seat upholstery to the headliner part, we're just going to push it in, and then it's going to go in between there and behind the seat. And now you don't see anything. Now let's go to the trunk area. Alright, so what I'm going to do now is just put the carpet back, since we have a slack in here already. And this wire, I'm going to route it underneath the carpet towards the bottom. I could put these clips back. Alright, let's continue running the wires to the bottom. So with this carpet, then there's a carpet for the spare tire. So it's going to go underneath this side, but run underneath the carpet for the spare tire. And here you can see what I'm talking about. I'm routed it inside, and it's going to go inside the carpet area until I get to the part back here, the very end. And then it's going to get routed. I know the sun's in the way. It's going to get routed up into this area right here. I know the sun's in the way of this camera, but this is where it's going to go, from the carpet, behind the carpet, into this area, so I could run it inside this top carpet into the trunk latch. Okay, now from this point I went ahead and ran it behind the carpet, which is right here. So this is where it's going to go next. It's going to go underneath the car area. It's going to come out here. I'm going to start taping it to here. Now, before I do all that, you can see there's wire in the inside, and I still have all this slack. So before I secure anything, I'm just going to run the wires straight to this part so we know how much slack to put on the inside. Alright, this is what I did. I pulled down this carpet and I found the opening, which is right here, that comes to this wire harness, and I put the wire in and I just pulled it out. Now remember, I'm not going to secure anything until I hook up the wires, and it's pretty much right there. It's all I need. So this is what I'm going to do, and it's the same function. Just put the wire in and turn it with your hand. Alright, got it in there. Now I know how much slack I'm going to keep inside the car. And don't worry about the red wire, it's going to be enough to run it into the tail light. So with this part in, I could go ahead and secure to this point of the car. And then I could put this carpet back. So let's start with that. I got the carpet back, and you can see where the wires are here now. What I'm going to do now is, you can see I made a cutout here. Let's see, about right there. And this is where the wires are going to be confined into, so you'll be able to put this completely in. So let me start that, and when I do that, I'm going to tape the wires all around this harness. That we could go to the next outlet. This is the end result of the taping of the wire harness. You can see how the wires are taped, and how this wire harness is flushed, and this one as well is flushed because of the cutouts. And you can see on both sides how it's all flushed as well. And simply just using electrical tape. When you're looking at your tail light, this is the light you want. You want the white one, the white bulb, the clear bulb. You don't want no yellow, no red or anything. And this is the backup light. If you're not sure which is the backup light, just have somebody go in the car, put your car in reverse, and the white light is going to be the one you're going to tap into. And since you know where it's at, like right now I know it's this one, open it, and it's this top one right here. Alright, now this one has a green and a black wire. The black is your ground, the green is your load in. This is where the power comes into. And this is the one we're going to tap into to use a backup camera. What I'm going to be using is something called a T-tap. And what this does is you put the wire inside the terminal here, and then you simply close it, and it breaks the wire, and it creates a seal around it, and it creates a connection. Then you would use the other part, which will connect this one to the red wire, and then when that makes a connection, you just put them both together like that. You're going to get your T-tap. You can see there's a terminal in there, silver part. You're going to put that underneath the wire, and you can see I have a break in there. I'm not sure if you can see that already in this wire from a previous backup camera installation. And you can see where the T-tap lands. All you're going to do is close the T-tap, and then you're going to close it, secure it with pliers. Once you have it tightened, just try to open it with your fingers, see if it comes up. If it opens, then it's not ready yet, but it's good. It's a good connection. All right, now we're ready for the red wire. All right, you can see where I pulled this grommet out, and what we're going to do is we're going to route the red wire through here. All right, there's the red wire. Okay, so all we got to do now is connect our terminal. And this is what we're going to use. This goes into this T-tap, and you put them together and creates a connection. Let me get my hand out of the way. And it creates a connection. Now we're ready to splice the wire. I'm going to give about a good inch of splicing, and the reason we're going to do this is because we're going to bend the wire in half. So first let's do our twisting of the wires. Next we're going to do is we're going to bend them in half, or fold them in half really. Twist the wires. And the reason we're doing this is because this wire is very thin, and when you try to put in a terminal like this, it's going to simply slide out because it's not thick enough. So here we made a thicker connection here. So now we're just going to put it inside these terminal, and you might be able to see the wire inside there. Okay, I got my pliers, got the wire inside, and you could see it on the other side here. So what I'm going to do now is just tighten it. What we're going to do is turn it to the other side and do the same thing. Press very hard to make that connection seal. And just to be safe, one more time in the middle. Now, what you want to do is to make sure it has a good connection is pull. You can see the wire still going up and down. Well, no, it's tight. So it's good. It's tight. It's in there. The only thing that's moving is the whole wire part in the middle. It's all going up and down. That means it's connected. So now we could connect them both together now. Okay, here I go. Gonna put them in there. Making sure that this terminal here, the middle, is inside the actual red area. I think I got it in there, putting it tight. Now what you want to do is look at one side, see there's no silver on the outside coming in. Tighten it up a little bit more, turn it to the opposite side, making sure that terminal is in the middle, not on the outside. Now we simply just push it tighter inside. What I'm going to do now is tape this red wire to this harness all the way down. This is the end result of the tape. So I'm just going to fix this back in there, this back piece here, and then I'm going to reinstall the light. This is the end result. Everything's confined. Everything is put back. All the carpet is put back on the inside. There's no exposed wires at all in here. If we look on the inside again, no exposed wires all the way to the front. And you can see the way it looks like on the inside, the rear view mirror. Now it's time to test it. All right, let's power on the vehicle. There you go. Now it's on. All right, you can see the screen there. And now, so we know the front camera works. Well, no, right now we just know the rear camera works because this is the rear camera showing. So what we could do is if you press the screen and you turn and you go to where you can see this microphone here, you press it and it gives you commands. And we're going to go ahead and say show front camera. And you can see the front camera. Now we could start adjusting our camera to move it up. Show rear camera. There you go. And we touch the screen, and then you see the microphone turn on again, and you turn it on and it gives you more functions. Okay, now let's go ahead and tell it turn off screen. Turn off screen. There you go, and you get your regular rear view mirror. But you can see how it looks better when you turn on screen, or it looks better. This is voice activated, so this is pretty neat. Now let's go ahead and see if the rear backup camera works. So we're going to put this in reverse. All right, and we're on the heel, so let's go ahead and back up and we could get on a regular flat surface. All right, we're reversing. All right, and you pretty much, you could tell that the camera, when you have it, when it's not on backup, it's facing a correct location. But let's go ahead and adjust the camera. So we're going to put it back on reverse, and with this screen here, we're going to lower it down. We're going to adjust the screen. There you go. See, just simply by moving your hand, you could adjust the backup screen to where you want it. And I think that is good right there. All right, we're going to put this back on drive and hold it down, and see, we could adjust. There you go. We could adjust it from the screen. We don't have to go in the back and do some screws. It automatically does it from the mirror, the rear view mirror camera. All right, looks good. I think I like this. You can see where you don't want too much of the ground, because when you use this as your rear view mirror, you want to see the cars on the side of you. You don't want too much of the ground, because that's what your rear backup camera is for when you put it in reverse. All right, so let's go ahead and put this in drive. All right, now let's go ahead and show front camera. All right, here we go again. So we got a front camera. You can see this truck is parked on the grass. Not sure why. And let's see. Let's see, we could adjust it again. All right, I think I like it right there. All right, so now we're gonna go ahead and do a test run showing the front camera, and then we'll showing the rear camera. Well, if you start driving, it automatically puts it on the rear camera, because it's your rear view mirror, that's why. Let's see, show front camera. All right, so as you're driving, you can see how it's showing the front camera. Show rear camera. Hold the camera. Telling my assistant to hold the camera, the tripod, so it won't be shaking as we're driving. All right, we're turning. All right, show front camera. And you can see how the 170 degrees wide angle lens is viewing from this angle here. We're at a three-way stop, turning left. All right, show rear camera. And you could also see that when I'm saying the commands, it's doing it right away. You're not having to do it over and over and over. And the resolution looks awesome. Now you could adjust the resolution to this as well. If it's too much exposure, you could adjust as well. All right. Show front camera. Here you go. We can see a truck on the right. So if this video was helpful for you, please give me that thumbs up, because you know I appreciate that from you. If you're interested in this product, I'll list the links in the description down below. If you have any questions or comments about this camera or any other installations, please leave them in the comment section. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.